Motions.
Thank you. And I know today's meeting we were basically taking public comment. Request was not to really engage with Vistra, and I do hope there's going to be I believe there'll be a time down the line when we have a little more information that Vistra may be able to offer, when we have clearer questions that we'll be able to have that discussion. I withheld my questions in respect for that decision today. My first piece of information I need is a question for County Council, and that is just to try to understand what emergency powers the county possesses to pause or to halt the battery facility and Moss Landing, or specifically, is there anything we can do not to have these go back online?
So right now the county can look at its various environmental, building and land use regulations for compliance. As we heard from the environmental health, they will be actively participating in cleanup issues to make sure that's done in a safe way. Going forward, we can explore further regulations. However, I would point out that the state has a significant role in the approval of the facility, and we cannot pass regulations in areas that are preempted by state law.
Okay, so we can impose some regulations as we try to sort this out. What about the as I mentioned earlier, my understanding is both facilities are offline and they can turn on as they choose. Is there anything any role the county has in that?
They can look at things like the cleanup and the fire, potentially fire regulations. That would be probably North Fire instead of the county. But to my knowledge, once it is adequately been cleaned up and they're meeting fire regulations and they're meeting county permits, know that would be under state jurisdiction.
Thank you. And just to clarify, so the building that exists similar to the one that caught on fire, there's nothing that's under state. We can't really do anything about that outside of perhaps potential fire or looking at it.
With the caveat that we've had minimal time to research this. I know that they were approved by the California PUC and approved by the California Department of Energy, and that I believe is operating, that governs operations.
Thank you for that, but you're able to research in this limited amount of time. With that, I want to have two motions here. My first would be for the county to send a letter to Vistra and PG&E requesting that their battery facilities not turn back online to the power grid until the causes of this fire has been determined and addressed. And also that both companies stay offline until they have become compliant with SB 38 in a worst case scenario. And that would be my motion, to send a letter. I understand we have no power behind that. It's a request. That's a motion.
Second that motion.
Second on the motion.
Sure.
Mr. Church.
That the county send a letter to both Vistra and PG&E requesting that their battery facilities not be turned back online to the power grid until the causes of the fire have been determined and addressed, and be preventive measures addressed. And also that they stay offline until both companies have complied with SB 38 and presented emergency response plans for a worst case scenario. A worst case, that's just what we've just experienced.
Supervisor Alejo.
I think I could support that. Obviously, they should be in compliance with SB 38. why PG&E hasn't filed theirs, that's great. And whether Vistra's report that was done before, 4 months before the law went into effect, it shouldn't be too hard to make sure it is in compliance with all the requirements of that statute. So yes, I could support. I had one more other concern, but I'll get back to it.
So on that one, I think my only concern is the definition of worst case scenario, right? Could be subjective. So given, I know you said what we just experienced, but I think perhaps the use of the word catastrophic. I mean, imagine all the batteries going up at once. I mean, well, we've been told it's not possible. We need to know and want to be clear on that. So
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm happy for that clarification. I'm hoping there's not a worst case scenario than what we've experienced already.
Yeah. Oh, I know what that other issue was. It was just on the cause of what caused this fire. Obviously, Vistra has a lot of video of their whole facility, so the public should be able to find very quickly where it started, how it started, and how the fire spread throughout the entire building. Thank you.
got a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Supervisor Church.
Okay, my